All right, well, okay. So now it is time for the class part of film class. And I don't have too terribly much to say because I do think even though that is a very nostalgic film, I think it's a little bit in the good slop category, but I do have some things I want to say. As far as I can tell, and this is crazy to say out loud, as far as I can tell, that is the third major motion picture with a Black and Asian lead actor in it, which is fucking crazy. The first, Enter the Dragon. The second, the first Star Trek movie. And the third is this movie, which is fucking crazy. To like say that out loud, it almost feels crazy that those other movies, Enter the Dragon, the Black lead actor only has like 3 minutes of screen time, but he's considered like a lead. Star Trek, obviously, barriers broken all over that show, the original Star Trek series. You have the first interracial kiss. The cast was enormously diverse for the time. And George Takei and Nichelle Nichols were both leads in that show, a Black woman and an Asian man, a gay Asian man, which is all pretty fascinating there. And then you have Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon? Brother, Mel Gibson is fucking white. Danny Glover. No. I'm not saying that there was a Black lead or an Asian lead. I'm saying two leads in the same project are a Black person and an Asian person. I'm not saying this is the third film ever with a Black person. That's crazy. I'm saying at the same time. Jet Li. Jet Li is the villain in. I don't think he's not in the first one. Which Jet Li is in Lethal Weapon 4. And I wouldn't say he's a lead in that movie. Anyway, regardless, this movie is enormously wonky. Obviously, it is really dated. It is very bruxism at points, and I still think it's very funny, but you can definitely feel how dated that is. But I think there's kind of something very encouraging about that like in 1998 was when we had pretty much the first major motion picture with a Black and Asian lead. And then that leads to a whole kind of renaissance of films like that. You have Romeo Must Die. You have a bunch of projects kind of in the aftermath of that, Tokyo Drift, where it's a much more common pairing, and not for any good or progressive reasons, but rather because all of a sudden it became financially viable for Hollywood because of Rush Hour, right? And I think all of those films are so bruxism with their depictions, not only of the Asian community, but of the Black community as well. And now, what only seems like a minute later in 2026, if you had representations of people like that on screen, it would be thought of as terribly gauche. Too bad to the director is scum, fuck, pedo, and rapist. Yeah, brother, let me fucking get through you're jumping the lead, man. I have a whole thing I want to say. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, Rush Hour feels like a movie that is kind of a lost piece in time, right? For the time, it had an amount of representation that was truly, up until that point, unprecedented. And so I do think that even though this project was very bruxum and kind of backwards in a lot of its, racist humor and stuff like that, I do think that it ended up being a tremendous step forward for representation. However, I do think that Rush Hour and projects like it should remain lost in time. It does feel enormously strange to me to be getting like a scary movie, like 6 or whatever it is, and a Rush Hour 4. Like I don't, I'm not the type of person that's going to sit here and bemoan, be like, fuck Rush Hour. Cause I don't feel that way. I do think that Rush Hour in 1998 was bruxum means like grating. Like, ooh, because there were a few parts in that movie where we're like, ooh, like when Jackie says the N-word, man. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's not, I don't care how fucking on the lunatic fringe you are. That still makes your butthole pucker a little bit. You know what I mean? But now, like that one chatter said, the interesting thing is we live in a time when I think a lot of people are actively taking a step back. They don't look at kind of the language choices and the like worldly kind of global understanding that we have gained via social media and art and film as like a positive, which is how you end up with Brett Ratner being encouraged by the fucking president to make Rush Hour 4. I can't make this shit up. In case you don't know, Rush Hour 4 is being pushed through with director Brett Ratner because Donald Trump so wills it. And now there's a whole bunch of crazy things with Brett Ratner being on the Epstein list and Chris Tucker being on the Epstein list. And oh, yeah, let me not forget Donald Trump being on the Epstein list. But it's just so bizarre that I do think that, like, when you watch a nostalgic project like this, it is okay to enjoy it. It is okay to look back and be like, what a different time. I think it is very much a different thing to sit here and be like, damn, we need to go back in time and make some really fucking racist movies again so I can laugh. I think there is like a distinction between those two concepts. And I think a lot of people get offended when they get browbeaten because they're told that they cannot enjoy a Rush Hour. You can absolutely enjoy a Rush Hour. I think it's totally fine to enjoy a lot of pieces of art from the past that are dated and to look at them with eyes where you realize, like, man, we've come a long way. I think that is okay. I think the latter concept is so puzzling to me because I don't miss that level of latent racism, right? I don't yearn for a time. There was certainly a time when I was a kid when my understanding of the Black community, when my understanding of the Asian community was so limited that I wanted those tokenized characters, right? Because they were the only version we got. Guys, remember, this is the third project ever that Hollywood produced with a Asian and Black lead actor. When you think about that, Rush Hour was actually an important film when it comes to representation. It's baffling. It is baffling to consider that. Like, that is fucking crazy. Power Rangers? I don't know if Power Rangers the movie came. No, dude. I think Power Rangers the movie was well after this. Oh, no, you're right. Power Rangers, the movie, was in 1995. Okay, fourth movie. Fourth movie. Still, okay, those projects that I list, though, I just want to make it clear. Enter the Dragon, Star Trek, and Power Rangers, all three of those movies, the leads are ensemble. Rush Hour is the first movie where the project leads, like top of the script, actor number one, actor number two, are Asian and black. It is the first. It is the first project. Like that, and that is baffling. That is truly baffling to consider. Like, so when I say that as a kid in 1998, those tokenized representations, however kind of poorly formed, were some of like the first time that you got to see people of color on the silver screen together. So again, I have such a mixed relationship with a lot of projects that at the time were, cultural fucking landmarks. Rush Hour was a fucking landmark film. I don't know how many of you are Zoomers. I don't know how many of you were born post, I guess, like 1993, 1994. You would have to be that old in order to remember the opening of Rush Hour. But like, dude, I'm telling you, Rush Hour was like a nuclear bomb. Everybody was quoting it. Everybody was talking about it. And as I said, it not only inspired 3 other Rush Hour movies, but it also led to the creation of movies like Cradle to the Grave and Romeo Must Die and Tokyo Drift. There was a whole generation of film that were trying to emulate Rush Hour. And so it's an interesting thing to kind of look at. I know we feel like we are at a time when everything is so culturally stunted and everything is so backwards, but it is kind of refreshing to look back at Rush Hour and be like, damn, that was the first movie with a black and Asian lead? That's fucking crazy. That's fucking nuts. How is that possible? So yeah, I think it's a very good slop movie to watch. It's a movie that a lot of us have a very soft place in our heart for because of how incredible the nostalgia is when it comes to Rush Hour, when it comes to Jackie Chan, when it comes to Chris Tucker. Rush Hour is a movie that I do feel really sad about because first of all, Jackie Chan broke my heart with the situation with his child. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. I don't mean to ruin Jackie Chan for everybody, but Jackie Chan is very famously not an ally, which to me is shocking because he, by all accounts, is a really great guy. That's a myth. That's not a myth. That's not a myth. It's very sad. It is. It is not. As of early 2006, Jackie Chan has admitted to having a strange relationship with his children. That took 2 seconds to look up. So I don't want to bemoan it too much, but that was disappointing. And then obviously Chris Tucker being on the Epstein list was another shocker. But Jackie Chan, despite his, could be for other reasons, we're really giving Jackie a lot of benefit of the doubt here. And here, I'll continue with that. Let's give him more benefit of the doubt. Jackie Chan, I think his place in cinema and in movies is inalienable. People are human and people will make decisions that disappoint you. But Jackie Chan is one of the greatest, not only martial artists, but filmmakers of all time. I don't know if you guys know this, but Jackie Chan for a long time was a student of a guy named Buster Keaton, who you can look into, who's probably the greatest physical actor that ever lived. And Jackie Chan not only studied his on-screen kung fu from classic Japanese martial arts, but he was like a Buster Keaton mega fan. And if you ever want to go back and watch, Buster Keaton is like a more physical Charlie Chaplin, by the way, for those of you who have no idea who he is. He studied those. Here, I'll show you a little Buster Keaton real quick. He studied Buster Keaton's stunts, like almost religiously. He would study how Buster would do these gags on screen. And part of the reason that Jackie Chan sold so well is Jackie realized that martial arts, they sell very nicely, but what Jackie was really the original guy to incorporate was humor into his martial arts. Jackie Chan was probably the first guy to have this sense of like vaudevillian physical humor that he incorporated within martial arts. And it was brilliant. And there are so many weird scenes. Like a good example is Jackie Chan with the steering wheel still attached to his arm. That is a Jackie Chanism, right? Like, not true. The daughter was just broke. The mom lied. Is a bad mom. The mom is the one with the foe. It got wrapped up in anti-Chinese propaganda because Jackie became pro-CCP. I don't know where you are finding that. Every account I have ever seen of this story says that Jackie Chan has no relationship with his daughter. Maybe you have some information. Yeah, Jackie Chan reportedly working to reconcile with his estranged daughter, but that means that they were estranged. So the evidence you just sent me, yeah, so they are estranged. Working to reconcile means that they are estranged. That doesn't mean that he has no issue with her being gay. When asked about her coming out as lesbian, he replied, as long as she's happy. Gets estranged because she's from an affair, not because she's gay. I don't know, man. Well, regardless, everything I have heard about the situation is that Jackie Chan is deeply conservative with his beliefs about LGBT. Maybe he has amended that situation and good for him. You're drawing the line between estranged and queer yourself. Guys, can I make a statement to you? Possibly this is what it is. I have read many stories. I have talked to many people about this situation because I'm a huge Jackie Chan fan. If it's anti-Chinese propaganda, could be. I'd believe it. The information that I have right now is that Jackie Chan has no relationship with his gay daughter and is not really that great with the LGBTQ spectrum. That is my understanding of it. I think some of you don't understand that Jackie Chan is one of the most valuable actors in the world. And if you think that anti-woke or anti-Chinese propaganda is bad, wait till you find out how good pro-talent publicists are. I would be much more likely to believe that that is a really good publicist that is trying to smooth out Jackie Chan's identity with people rather than faceless American politicians doing a smear campaign about Jackie Chan's relationship with his gay daughter in order to besmirch China. I mean, it could be, I don't know. Anyway, I was talking about his work as a filmmaker. I was going to separate that fully. Either way, not taking care of your daughter, disappointing. We can all agree there, and I hope we can move on. But again, I am and was a huge Jackie Chan fan in terms of his work. So the vaudevillian humor being incorporated into martial arts, I think is really cool. And if you go through, there are a lot of Jackie Chanisms where he incorporates a lot of like weird stunt work. It's very classically Jackie Chan, like all the way back to the original Drunken Master. Um, I am I'm just going to read this quickly. The movie was so nice to revisit. 1995, baby. And this one was one of my favorite films enjoyed. Thank you. When can we watch number 2 together? Probably never. With peace and love. Much love. Thank you so much. So I love going through and watching a lot of the set piece. All right, I'm sorry. I got to fucking mute you guys. Let me get through my fucking film night. Jesus fucking Christ. Shut up and listen to the lesson. Okay, so I think going through Jackie Chan's work and watching all of the vaudevillian moments is really cool. The one that stands out the most to me is I think it's in Rumble in the Bronx or Super Cop, the sequence with the ladder. It's one of the coolest martial arts sequences I've ever seen. And you can kind of see all the Buster Keatonism in it. Let me see if I can pull this up. Jackie Chan ladder fight. Yeah. Here you go. So this right here, oh, it's in First Strike. It is Jackie incorporating a lot of that Buster Keatonism into his martial arts. Like here you can see the traditional martial arts fight, blah, blah, blah. And then this is where it gets very creative. And it's so funny to watch him use this ladder in all of these very inventive different ways. And he is the GOAT at that. I mean, truly like incredible and innovative. And basically you could give him any single prop and he would turn it into martial arts and make it look very cool. And I think that, you know, was his signature martial arts style, which is always so fucking fun to watch. Beyond that, a lot of you might not know this, but Jackie Chan was also like a big film head. He did a lot of editing himself by actually laying out film reel and cutting it and splicing it and putting it together, which is fascinating. I think that is, you don't hear of many other martial artists being that well versed in filmmaking that they would even bother with an edit, let alone literally cut film and splice film by hand. Like that is advanced, high level nerddom, which is really, really freaking cool. As I said, Rush Hour is one of those movies that I hold it with kind of mixed emotions. I'm glad we watched it. It still makes me laugh. There are some great moments of humor in there that are kind of like slapsticky. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. That are kind of like slapsticky, like the moment with the license flip where he pulls it over and it's like, it's Tucker with the full blown afro. And he's like, I can't pull that off. I'm not 6 foot. Fucking brilliant, man. Like one of the greatest little just fucking bits there. Yeah, so I'm glad we watched this movie. I'm so interested to see what Rush Hour 4 will look like. Like I almost am gonna watch it like you watch, like a live leak video where I'm watching it with just so much like nervous energy because it could be so fucking offensive. It could be so fucking offensive. And I don't know. I just don't know if we need to retread a lot of these humor institutions and film institutions that were left in the 90s and early 2000s. Anyway, that's film night. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's not often that we watch a slop film. Typically, I like to watch movies that I think can be studied over, and you can learn something from their filmmaking craft. So this one was kind of an aberration because you guys get very insistent about watching like fan favorite movies from time to time, like a Kangaroo Jack, like a Shrek. And so my kind of quarterly dog treat Scooby snack to you guys for being a great audience is watching a movie that I probably wouldn't consider Criterion in any way, shape, or form, but it's still really fun to watch and kind of look back at. And particularly a movie like Rush Hour, which I get, again, it's just so baffling to me to consider that this was the first movie with a true lead Black and Asian pairing as the leads. That is bizarre. That is absolutely beyond the pale crazy to me. And it reminds me how far we've come with representation. And as I've always said, I will never understand racism within people or exclusivity in that they only want to watch white projects or whatever their race may be, because you lose out on so much fucking incredible art. I could never be racist because I would miss out on so much good shit. And I think in a weird way, in a very kind of stumbling and awkward first step, Rush Hour introduced a lot of people to cultures that they had never really been exposed to. And I think that even though it was smacking and ham-fisted, it was a first step. And usually first steps are. And so always we must be patient. Progress isn't a straight line, but it is occurring. And it is funny that just 28 years later, we can watch that movie and be like, golly, we've come a long way from Jackie Chan saying the N-word multiple times in a PG-13 soft action movie. Man, the times they are a-changing. Anyway, sorry, y'all. I shut you all down because I wanted to get out of my little spiel. We do that every night. It's kind of like the class portion of film class, and I feel like it's important to talk about these projects from at least an attempted intellectual place. If you guys had any questions now, you may go ahead and ask them. When do you think this will be added to the Criterion Collection? Never. This was this was the inspiration for Rotten Tomatoes. Really interesting. I didn't know that. For 14 years, Chris Tucker only acted in Rush Hour films. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is fucking nuts. That is crazy. For the 3 Rush Hour movies, Chris Tucker likely earned over $60 million, as his salary for the first movie was not listed, but it is insinuated that he had a small market share. Crazy, crazy, crazy amount of money. Didn't he spend a lot of his money on coke? It was the 90s. They all did. What would you say is Jackie Chan's best work? Oh, for me, it's either Rumble in the Bronx or Drunken Master. for some people, Drunken Master won't be a movie that really appeals. But if you are someone who enjoys martial arts, kung fu, etc., this is a masterpiece. This is an absolute fucking masterpiece. It is unbelievably good. It is the wellspring from which so many projects moved. It's one of his first appearances. If you love that era, the other one I would recommend is Snake and Eagle's Talon, I believe it's called. Police Story is very good. They asked my favorite. It's Drunken Master. Do you have a favorite buddy cop movie? Favorite buddy cop movie? I mean, my favorite buddy cop project is True Detective season 1, but it's less buddy and more nightmare. In terms of like a funny buddy cop movie, I would have to go The Nice Guys. The Nice Guys is fucking incredible. Oh, and Hot Fuzz, I think, falls into that category. You're right. But that's more of like a pure humor. I think The Nice Guys is really fucking good. Do you have a favorite modern martial arts film? Ooh, I don't know. Is The Raid considered modern anymore? I mean, probably The Raid or like John Wick. Oh, don't say that. Don't say The Raid. Why wouldn't I say The Raid? The Raid is sick. The movie was a classic movie. My dad would have it in his collection. What movie would you show to your hypothetical kids? What movie? Singular? Dude, if I ever have kids, they are going to be strapped to a chair like fucking Clockwork Orange, and I'm going to feed classic movies until their brain, until their fucking mise en scene is perfect. Poor kids? Nah. I mean, like, what movie would I watch with my kids while they're still kids? Um, I mean, the first movie I'd really want to watch with them is I think this is the best children's movie ever made. The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. This is like one of the first kids movies I watched that I felt like my brain turned on. Um the what? It's Terry Gilliam, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. What age did you watch that? 6. Um did some research, movies with black and Asian leads. Yeah, Enter the Dragon. Oh my God, they're all martial arts movies. They're all B martial arts movies. Oh my God, they are lit. Every single one is a B martial arts movie in the style of Enter the Dragon. Like, these are movies that probably never even saw the light of day. That or a general audience. This is crazy. Game of Death was a movie that was never even finished. This movie was okay. Also, calling Kareem Abdul-Jabbar a lead in this movie is fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. So this list is completely chalked. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar shows up for one 5-minute scene as a mute blind guy in a movie where in a movie that was never finished because Bruce Lee died making it. That's crazy. That is crazy. By the way, though, if you've never seen that fight scene in Game of Death, oh my God. So this is for the real ones. So this movie doesn't exist. in its finished state. And yet this is one of the most iconic fight scenes in history. Oh, they literally just put all 19 minutes of the movie that were finished before he died in a sequence. So by the way, this is the one scene that I guess Kareem Abdul-Jabbar gets a leading credit for. Here you go. This fight scene is fucking incredible though. Wasn't Kill Bill based on this? No, Kill Bill was more genuine or generally based on kung fu movies. Like there's a lot of influence from a movie called One Arm Boxer. There's a lot of influence from a movie called Master of Flying Guillotine. But most notably, the reason that this is considered an influence for Kill Bill is the outfit. Beatrix Kiddo's outfit when she rides the motorcycle is based on Bruce Lee's. This is a not Le Coq Sportif, Onisoka Tiger. This is an Onisoka Tiger jumpsuit that they made particularly for Bruce, and he also had the Onisoka Tiger shoes, the yellow ones that became very famous. You just spoiled Kill Bill. I still don't understand why he censors Beatrice Kiddo's names. It doesn't ruin anything. Also, for Jesus Christ and fucking holy hell, that movie's 20 years old. Also, what am I supposed to say? Beeps! Outfit and Kill Bill? What do you want from me? Dude, this fight scene's so fucking sick. How many people have never seen this? That's crazy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you, do not buy this movie. Do not buy Game of Death. It was I'm telling you, in my adolescence, it might be one of the most disappointing moments in my entire youth because I was a Bruce Lee fucking mega fan, like an absolute Bruce Lee mega fan. And he only completed like 3 movies, right? Chinese Connection, Fists of Fury, Enter the Dragon, and then Game of Death, I think. Anyway, Big Boss. There you go. And I had watched all of his movies, and then I found Game of Death, and I was like, oh, what's the rest of the movie even about? So, okay, let me give you a little bit of a background. Chinese Connection, I said that. So this movie is the actual movie that they made, they use a double for Bruce Lee through like 90% of it. And they had to like completely recook the plot to work around this one scene where he climbs a tower and just has a series of fights. And so it basically, if you ever buy the movie, 90% of it is a stand-in and the plot is just completely throwaway to package the 11 minutes of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee died due to brain swelling. And there is a lot of debate, like something else we were talking about earlier tonight, about how and why it happened. Okay. The standing theory, was that he was a like vegan or like not a vegan, but like a purist, in that he never took medicine, right? He never took medicine because he was so like athletically gifted and focused on his body that he had never taken medicine in his entire life. And during Game of Death, it was so physically demanding, the filming, that his body was like hurt. And so someone gave him aspirin for the first time, and he was allergic to aspirin, and it caused his brain to swell. Now, there are many different takes on what killed Bruce Lee. Some people think he had rhabdo, I've heard. Some people think the triad killed him or poisoned him because he had run amok or run afoul of gangs in China. Some people think he died of dehydration. Some people think he actually hit his head during the filming of Game of Death and his brain just swelled from that. There are so many ranging theories on how Bruce Lee died, but the official like what they put forward is that he had never taken aspirin and it killed him. What is rhabdo? Rhabdo is this really weird illness that comes from when your body has too much lactic acid in it. Basically, when you are exercising so intensely, your body produces a amount of lactic acid that poisons your system, and it can kill you. And so some people think he died of rhabdo. But there's so many I've heard so many theories on this. It's a whole fucking rabbit hole. By the way, though, I mentioned the triad theory. There are some Bruce Lee fans who will not hear any other word on it. There are some people that are convinced he was murdered by the triad. Double feature? Brother, this movie is 10 minutes long. We're watching the whole movie right now. This is one of the coolest shots in martial arts history. No school tomorrow. I have a podcast at 10. You guys are fucked. You're not going to get anything else out of me. So get good questions ready and then I'm out of here. You're doing the pod at midnight? I said it's at 10 a.m. If they had finished this movie I think would have been bigger than Enter the Dragon. It would have been fucking crazy. Thank you, Rook. I hope you had a good stream. would have gone down as the most disappointing movie in history, in my opinion. Honestly, with Peace and Love, I'm going to give you a lot of respect. Interesting theory. I completely fucking disagree. There is no evidence that that would be true in any single way. Enter the Dragon was an absolute fucking nuclear bomb on culture. And this movie featured maybe the most popular athlete of the time as one of the primary villains. You're nuts. The reason that Game of Death sucks is because they had to change the entire plot around. What was the original plot? I don't even know. But the one that made it to the movie has nothing to do with the original plot. Wasn't Cream in The Fifth Element, or am I high? You're high. He was the opera singer, I thought. That's Flava Laguna. Anyway, this movie never got finished, and the fights in this movie are still considered some of the best martial arts fights ever. So if you want to go down that rabbit hole while we're talking about martial arts films. All I can think of is when I see Bruce Lee is how disrespectful Quentin was to his legacy. Yeah, I've talked about my theory there many times. I think Bruce Lee very famously spoke out against like classic kung fu movies as like being exploitative and representing real martial arts in a kind of like fanciful and disrespectful light. So he disavowed them. And I think a lot of those movies are Quentin Tarantino's favorite movies, like Master of Flying Guillotine and all that stuff is Quentin Tarantino's shit. So I think Quentin Tarantino always held this like post-mortem grudge where he was like, oh, you think you're better than martial arts? You think you're better than Kung Fu? You think you're better than Wu-Tang? And so when he got a chance to just kind of like knock Bruce Lee post-mortem down a peg, he jumped on it, which I think is a fucking horrible reason to do that because by every other account, Bruce Lee was like the nicest fucking guy in history. I feel like Bruce Lee was the first guy to be shredded in movies. Like there were strong bodybuilders, but not super shredded ones. Am I wrong? No, you're absolutely right. Bruce Lee, his knowledge of bodybuilding was actually like far, far, far beyond even most professional bodybuilders at the time. And he swore by a book. I want to say it was called A Bigger Muscle is a Stronger Muscle, which was all about bodybuilding, and he studied that. But his workout routine to this day is like insane. Like his workout routine is a lot like mine, where like his load, like the amount of lifts he was doing per day was fucking crazy. So about that black and white Danish film next week, yes, we're going right back to the Criterion shit next week. You're reading subtitles next week, bitch. You're damn near a little saint for putting up with as much bullshit as you do from chat. Listen, here's the thing. I love chat. I do. And it's always death by 1,000 cuts. I always try and keep in mind no one has an intention to piss me off or to be contrarian or anything. They're just, here having fun, same as everybody. So I always try and temper my frustration sometimes with people with love and peace. And sometimes I fail and I yell at people and I always feel bad because I don't mean to. I'm just trying to get a point across. Romeo Must Die. Yeah, that's we talked about that earlier. That was another film kind of in the genre of Rush Hour. Is there a big difference between Hong Kong and mainland Chinese action movies? Action movies? I mean, like, I think there's a difference even between directors from the same region. But Hong Kong action and martial arts is kind of like the shit. Like that was kind of like the shit. Like that's where a lot of your peak, what you're thinking of, comes from. Like you're not gonna find any like pure 70s kung fu movies from like Guangzhou, you know what I mean? Did you ever talk about Wet Hot American Summer after? Yes, I did. Before you hop off, this girl submitting for Wubby's art gallery snuck you and the cast of 24 Hour Tag in her painting. Can you spot yourself? There I am. Poob, Will, Matt. Fire, dude. Fire painting. That shit is fire. Bro, I'm saying we want it all for film night. Just like you want every genre. Well, that's what we do. We have genre from all over. You know, we have films from all over. What film are we watching next week? I don't really know. I usually like to prepare. I usually have like 2 or 3 films selected, and then I'll kind of like whittle it down based on like what I can teach, how much nudity there is, and like chat's overall vibe. And this week we were having a really fun week, and so I just wanted to show something light and fun. And then next week we'll probably go back to something more challenging. I was thinking we should probably do like another documentary at some point. I would like to do that. There are some animation I want to do. We talked a lot about cell animations. There's like a lot of like hand-drawn cell movies that like aren't Disney projects that I think would be really fun to watch. Yeah, I don't know. We'll whittle it down. What movie has the most ambiguous plot? Probably Skidmarink. Off the top of my head. I've heard that stunt actors in Hong Kong action films were put through the ringer. Has the safety for stunt people been a big reason we don't get those films anymore? No, I'm going to be honest. We still put stunt people through hell. I don't mean to blow your mind, but stunt people are still doing fucking dangerous shit all the time. That's like, I disagree. I know stuntmen, dude. I know a guy that 5 years ago did a 25-foot flat back. He could have died. Like, has it gotten safer? Yes, there are more checks and balances, certainly. But like, there are stunts in films that, when done wrong, you'll die. Like that's stunt work. Like, for example, if you really think that we have taken all danger out of film, like, guys, 3 years ago, Tom Cruise jumped a cock-sucking motorcycle off a cliff. Like this was 3 years ago, man. He is insane though. Guys, let me just put something into perspective. If the most valuable actor in Hollywood is allowed to jump a motorcycle off a cliff, there like other stuntmen are still allowed to do dangerous stuff with peace and love. Shot by a real bullet. I mean, unfortunately, that's how Bruce Lee's son died in a movie. I spanned it previously, so sorry for continuing. Are there other films like Thief that you recommend that let scenes breathe as the vault melting scene? Oh yeah, man. Like, I think that's just an era of film making. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to watch action movies like that, or like, you know, thrillers, the 1980s is kind of your bag. You know what I mean? Like 1980s thriller and action. Like for example, Manhunter is a good one. Like that shit fucking breathes. Blood Simple. Stuff like Witness, actually, in a crazy way, like is like very ambient and kind of like, but yeah, that whole era, like they weren't rushing stuff the way they are now. It's truly attention stuff. Attention spam. I gotta go. Thanks, Senior Will. No worries. Um, Will, have you seen any new releases you liked recently? Brother, I watched one last night that I cannot believe how good it was. This movie, Lurker, was fantastic. It is such a like perfect spot on take on like people who just use people in Los Angeles. It's really good. What's your must watch for 2025 releases? Jesus Christ, 2025. 28 years later, Sinners, Marty Supreme. God damn it. This is a fucking long question. Bring Her Back. Weapons, Superman. That's a good start right there. Long Walk, yeah. Eddington, yeah. Did you see Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie? Yeah, I haven't. I really want to. Brain fart? No, I just can't remember every movie released last year. That's crazy. Name all your favorite movies from 2023. It's like, fuck. Name every movie. Real quick, what are your thoughts on the Lanterns trailer? Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to be really good. Did you like Kung Fu Hustle? I think Kung Fu Hustle is really fun. Yeah, for sure. I like that movie. Do you prefer the action style of John Woo more than the wire work in action movies like Crouching Tiger? 100%. 100%. I think Crouching Tiger is great, but I think the reason that Crouching Tiger works is kind of like the magical orientalism that is in that film. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like so beautiful and high concept that you don't even really mind that there are people like flying around the screen. You know what I mean? Like you kind of just accept because you're like, ooh, I'm in a different world. I'm soaking it up. But like, I don't think that works in a lot of projects. There are a lot of projects in martial arts where characters are just like flying around and you're kind of like, all right. John Woo, I mean, like, if there's anything to be said about the two styles, like John Woo is now emulated by every single action choreographer working. And you know, the wire work in Crouching Tiger, you almost never see anymore. I think it was perfect for the project. I don't think it's like an emulatable style. Last week, we didn't do anything after chat of film class. What's something you would have liked to mention? Did we do Wet Hot American Summer last week? Wet Hot American Summer it's just a fantastic comedy. What would I like to mention? Legalized comedy. No, what I would have talked about is that movie is rated like a 30 on Rotten Tomatoes. And I think it's interesting because in that same period of time, like really successful, well-made horror movies and really well-made, successful comedies were just viewed as like peasant slop. Like critics wouldn't give them any kind of acclaim or like credit because they were not considered serious films. And now, you know, you have kind of films in every genre that get their nod. But it was really interesting how that era, like people were like, comedy and horror is for Philistines. American Pie, question mark? Yep, that's a movie. Could Rush Hour and Shanghai Noon be considered twin movies? Yes, of course. Shanghai Noon was like a cheap imitation of Rush Hour. It was absolutely an attempt to recapture the exact same dynamic. Have you seen Kung Pao? Many times. Many times. I've even gotten to meet the filmmaker through a family friend. What is one upcoming film you are looking forward to? Let's see. Most anticipated movies of 2026. The Bride, no. Hoppers, no. Project Hail Mary, this slate is pretty rough. Supergirl, very exciting, very exciting, very exciting. Oh, the Odyssey. Dude, the Odyssey is going to hit. I'm telling you. The Odyssey is going to hit like dope. It's just the perfect project for Nolan. Like you guys know, I think a lot of film bros of my ilk are like Nolan Glazers, and I am not a Nolan Glazer. With peace and love, I am not a Nolan Glazer. I like Nolan a lot, but like, I'll be honest, I found Oppenheimer very contrived and very kind of boring and just not a really solid film. And honestly, I think Nolan's style does not lend itself at all for telling a dialogue rooted, like intrigue, subterfuge, spy war movie. Like Nolan's style is like big and bold. And that movie, aside from the explosion, is like really conversational. And like Nolan is famous for having horrible shit dialogue volume that you can't even fucking understand. So like, I don't know why he chose to make that film really. I guess he was very interested with the atomic bomb and whatever, but the Odyssey is right in his wheelhouse. When you talk about your pitch, the baseball saying, you know what I mean? You wait for your pitch. The Odyssey is his fucking pitch. It's hanging out over the plate and he's about to fucking go yard. It is so in his wheelhouse. I cannot fucking wait to watch that movie. I cannot fucking wait. Do you have a recommendation to get into Bruce Lee? Enter the Dragon. 100%. Do I think, by the way, let me just say, peace and love, peace and love. Do I think Oppenheimer is a bad movie? No, I don't. I enjoyed it. Do I think it was the best movie of the year? Absolutely fucking not. I think they gave him a lot of extra credit. Can I give a crazy movie take? I didn't like Killers of the Flower Moon. I hated Killers of the Flower Moon. I honestly think Scorsese is washed. And I love Scorsese. I fucking love Scorsese. I would debate with people about Goodfellas being one of the best movies in history for hours. But Killers of the Flower Moon was fucking horrible. I think it was such a miss on every single level. I honestly don't think Goodfellas is that good. Casino is way better. Oh man. With peace and love. With peace and love. That's a I love Casino, but that's a tough one to defend. That's a tough one to defend. Goodfellas is near perfect. Ever since I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. You're baiting. You're 100% baiting, because if you enjoy Casino, you enjoy Goodfellas. I'm going to need you to write the female art version of Goodfellas. Oh God, pay me $200, my old rate. Why do you never mention Begonia? Easily my top 3 of 2025. You know what? I'll be honest. I really enjoyed Begonia. I really did. I thought Begonia was very interesting. Also, I love Stavi, one of my friends. I thought Stavros did a fantastic job. I thought Begonia was very solid. And listen, I will be the first to admit, I think Yorgos Lanthimos is a Philistine. I think he is a bad director, and I don't like his films. And I'll be the first to admit that I was really surprised and delighted by Begonia, even though it's a direct remake of a Korean film. I still was surprised and delighted. So you know, I am willing to give anybody credit, even directors I think are terrible. Nandre would fight you on that take. Yeah, I don't care. I think Yorgos Lanthimos movies are freak shit that people are really proud of themselves for saying like they enjoy. Like real shit. It like Yorgos's movies are the black licorice of candy. Like you can tell me as much as you want that black licorice is your favorite candy, but I know deep down you only say that because you want to be a unique flower. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm sorry. Black licorice can't really stand on any fucking footing with any real candy. It's a sometimes snack that like I guess you can enjoy from time to time. But I think that most people that say their favorite director is Yorgos are just performative, like fucking baristas who want you to know how fucking intellectual they are. Um, that was deep. Yeah, man. That's my hard take on that. I'll be honest. There are 2 Yorgos films that I really enjoy. I really enjoy Begonia, and I really enjoy The Favorite. I think those 2 movies are really fucking good. I think everything else is horrible. Poor Things is a nightmare, in my opinion. It's a movie about essentially fucking a baby. The whole movie is about fucking a baby in a woman's body, which I don't know how people can overlook that. That is the plot of the movie. Huh? What? Yeah, they put a fucking baby's mind in like a Frankenstein woman, and then everybody fucks her for the whole movie. And I really don't know how people can look past that. But that is the plot of Poor Things. Go watch the movie. That's what it's about. I'm not fucking like making anything up. I don't like it is like the whole like Japanese, I'm not a child, I'm a 3,000-year-old dragon type logic, and I cannot get past it for the life of me. Also, the camera work in Poor Things is like designed to make you feel uncomfortable, but it's so drastic and intense that the movie actually makes me feel sick. They're doing things like snap zooming into like a fucking silhouetted. It's the whole thing is just like, bleh. Like it makes me feel queasy. It makes me feel fucking seasick. The Lobster, I just don't fucking get it. It's like piss Christ in my opinion. It's like just intellectualism that like collapses on itself. At no point do I find it funny. At no point do I find it interesting. It's just fucking intellectualism for the sake of intellectualism with no like real art behind it. Also, Yorgos's tendency to tell his actors to act like shit will never appeal to me. In no movie, I'm sorry, if you get actors like fucking John C. Reilly and fucking Colin Farrell and Leigh Shadow or whatever her name is, and your note to them are like, hey, I want you to act like shit. For the duration of this entire movie, can you act like a fucking robot or a person who is in like local off-Broadway theater? Yes, that's what I'm going for. Like, if I have to watch Colin Farrell for one more second, be like, where's my coffee? I'd like a coffee. Oh my God, I'm being raped. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? What is the point of that? What does that accomplish? I don't understand. It's stupid. And then I had to watch that same bullshit again in Killing of a Sacred Deer, now with Nicole Kidman doing the same thing. Stupid. I'm sorry, there aren't many artists that I cannot tolerate. Yorgos is one of them. I think he makes trash for people who think that art that they don't understand is intellectual. What do you think about David Lynch? David Lynch is a guy that I give a lot of credit because I do think he is the master of suspense. I don't think there is anybody who is as good at creating suspense within his movies as David Lynch. I think he is really phenomenal, and I have to give him credit. He's the best of all time at that. In terms of me enjoying his projects, I love Dune, I love Blue Velvet, and I love Mulholland Drive. I love those projects. The rest, Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks puts me to sleep. Stop. I just don't. I've tried to watch Twin Peaks probably 20 times and I can't get past episode 3. Same. That's so funny that there are so many people in chat that are afraid to I'm not going to lie, Lynch is the barista version of One Piece. People are afraid to admit that they don't like his shit. Question mark, question mark, question mark. You're proving my point. David Lynch is One Piece for people that live in Portland. Like I don't mean to be frank there, but Like, I love Lynch. I think he's fantastic. I think he's important for film. I think he's a master of suspense. But like this whole idea that you can't offer any fucking criticism to the guy, you know nothing? No, I know a lot more than you think. I think David Lynch was a guy who a lot of his art was him just fucking winging it, and it had no greater meaning. And I think that's very cool. I think it's really cool to see how a guy like was inspired to do like very cool scenes that I find interesting. But to listen to Lynch talk, sometimes it was like looking behind the curtain. You know what I mean? Like I am very drawn into master storytellers, right? Master storytellers are what appeal to me, right? Like I love people that can spin me a fucking yarn. And just saying random creepy things in a story isn't the mark of a great storyteller. It's the mark of like a creepypasta. And I think, unfortunately, sometimes Lynch forayed into the world of like high art creepypasta. Like very famously, there's a scene that I was very beguiled by, which is
Hakim.
This. So this is a scene from a project called Lost Highway. Here you go.
We've met before, haven't we?
I don't think so. Where was it you think we met?
At your house, don't you remember?
No, I don't. Are you sure?
Of course. As a matter of fact, I'm there right now.
What do you mean you're where right now?
At your house.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Call me. Dial your number. Go ahead. I told you I was here.
How'd you do that?
So that scene is incredible, right? It's great. It's tense. It's intriguing. It's alluring. You're like, what the fuck? However, unfortunately, that scene is apropos of nothing else in the film. It has no explanation. It has no place in the greater plot. And later, when asked about it, Lynch admitted, he was like, yeah, one night I was home and someone hit the button on my call box. And when I went out to the front door, no one was there. And while I was out there, someone called my phone and I went to answer the phone, but I missed it. And I started to think, ooh, that was creepy. And so he just made this scene, which to me is so infuriating because this scene is fucking genius. This is genius. This is great. It is the seed of a fabulous story. Tell me this story. Tell me, like, I'm intrigued. I want to know about this character. I want to know about his motivations. I want to know why he's doing this. But ultimately, there's no purpose for it other than Lynch thought it was interesting. And yes, that is a word. Anywho, it's surrealist, yes, but I think even within surrealist, like, as I said, I think that borders on creepypasta. And horribly shot, I disagree with that completely. I love Lynch's visual style. I am open to criticisms about Lynch, but Lynch has an iconic visual style. I cannot agree with you that it looks terrible. I think it looks very interesting. I just think that stuff like that, if you can make scenes like that work within your greater narrative, even if it's like dreamlike, I just hate the apropos of nothing asides. It maybe my autism can't tolerate that, but like when these films have these like wasteful scenes essentially that do nothing other than create mood, it just feels like sugar. You know what I mean? It's in the same way that if you are cooking and you just add a bunch of sugar, yeah, you'll make something sweet, but it won't serve the dish. Stop saying you're autistic. You're the most neurological showman I've seen. Neurological showman. I don't know what that means. Mulholland Drive executed it better, in my opinion. Correct. I think that is why Mulholland and Blue Velvet stick out to me as his best projects because they serve the greater narrative, even in those like tense, creepy asides, they serve the greater narrative, right? Like the ear in the field in the beginning of Blue Velvet is one of those creepy asides, but it serves the bigger narrative. And that makes me like, oh, this is a tight project. Anyway, don't think that I dislike Lynch. I don't dislike Lynch. I'm just always very cautious of directors that are like above criticism for whatever reason, because I feel like there are very few artists, if any, that are like above criticism. On a scale of Nick Cage, where do you place Leaving Las Vegas? It's probably his best ever. Are there any directors above criticism? Maybe Kubrick. You don't get it, bro? Maybe not. You're right. I have wanted the Odyssey project since I read Myth in high school. Okay. Yeah, heck yeah, I'm excited. What if he directed Return of the Jedi? Better timeline or not? I mean, Dune is sick. I like Dune. I need your take on Bone Temple. I missed it. I fucking loved Bone Temple. I thought Bone Temple was one of the best movies of the year. Apparently no one agreed with me, but I thought it was incredible. That scene with Ray Fiennes doing the fire dance, like I was so in, man. I was so in. Why was Killers of the Flower Moon so bad? I had no clue about it until you mentioned it. Oh man, this is going to be a long aside. I will try and condense this as much as possible. Denzel Washington had an incredible quote one time about why it was important to have a black filmmaker make a certain story. Let me see if I can pull it up. Here, this is the quote.
So why did he need a black director? Why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have?
It's not color. It's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're
Steven
in a space
Spielberg
right
did Schindler's List.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List, but there are cultural differences. You know, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like. That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference.
Right.
So it's the culture.
You know about a hot comb scenario?
So anyway, that is a very succinct way of putting what I think is one of the failures of Killers of a Flower Moon, while including Martin Scorsese. I think Martin Scorsese has a really like deft touch when it comes to a certain type of film. But Killers of a Flower Moon was a movie that I think he really was trying to be earnest and to be heartfelt while discussing something that is very traumatic and very shameful. And he did it from the perspective of the villainous white guy in the movie, because I think Martin wanted to express what he could relate to through the view of being a white man and show like, these are our sins. These are our crimes. This is what we did. However, I think in a movie that was supposed to empower Native American people, instead, it kind of infantilized them. It made the Osage Indian people look defenseless, and it made them look kind of silly, instead of like showing that they were up against impossible odds. The Osage Indians were not taken advantage of by white people because they were dumb or frivolous or helpless. They were taken advantage of by white people because the odds that they went up against were so fucking insurmountable that there was nothing that they could have done to succeed. And I think I felt that the entire movie. I was very uncomfortable with the way that he depicted the Osage in the movie. And then after the movie, the Osage Indians themselves came out and said that they fucking hated the movie. So to me, if your movie is about a minority group, and more specifically, a trauma that minority group collectively went through, and you miss so badly that the people that you are trying to empower and shine a light on watch the movie and go, what the fuck is this? Then you missed. And ultimately, I think Scorsese is too good a filmmaker to miss like that. Period. Like, I think he is a master craftsman, and sometimes you just botch it. And I think he just botched it. I don't think he meant to be offensive. I don't think ultimately his intention was anything other than pure. I think it's a fascinating story. I just think the way that he displayed it was a botch. And it's something maybe that a Native American director would have been more sensitive to, if that makes any sense. Do you hate Lars von Trier? No, I quite like Lars von Trier. I like The House That Jack Built, even though it's like super traumatic. I like Antichrist. Guys, I don't dislike high concept film. Like, I literally have shown so many high concept films in this film class. I like unapproachable movies. I like high art movies. I really do. I just think that Yorgos's high art is bullshit for the sake of bullshit. Like, I don't think that there is a greater purpose for any of his decision making. I just think he does it to be artsy. Let me explain something to you. I'm going to explain something to you. I want you to look at something. This is how I view Panos Cosmatos. or not Panos Cosmatos, Yorgos. This is a good example. 2 seconds. Okay. This is a Banksy. This is an important piece of art. This is Mr. Brainwash. This is a total fucking Philistine. Now, that's the exact same model. Okay? That's the exact same model. Why is this one an important piece of art and this total bullshit? Well, this is an important piece of art because there's meaning behind it. There's intention. There's innovation. It tells a story. This is important. This is a knockoff that a guy uses all of the most marketable elements of street art to sell to a large audience of undiscerning rubes. If I cannot follow the purpose of your art for any reason, and I cannot find its intention anywhere, it's commerce, it's capitalism. And to me, Yorgos is that guy. He makes high art to be sold. I cannot find the intention in it. Harsh. Yeah, I really hate what he makes. Like I've shown this so many times, but I have to show it again. I honestly think this is the
So last week I rewatched The Killing of a Sacred Deer. And even though this movie is
I think this is the worst movie ever made. I think Killing of a Sacred Deer is the worst movie ever made. And this scene offends me. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, if a college student filmed this scene and handed it in, you would be failed. There's nothing redeeming about this scene.
Thank you very much.
Like, watch how this is performed. This is two of the greatest actors of our time, mind you. This is Shaq and Kobe.
I'd like to talk to you. I'm not going to take up much of your time.
Of course. I've only got 10 minutes because I got to get to class, so...
Hot take, who's your most overrated director of all time? Yorgos.
What's up?
My husband told me about you and your father.
Oh, he did? Did he also tell you about my mom?
No.
Oh. Sorry. Maybe I'm not the one you should hear it from. But ever since your husband killed my father, he's been flirting with my mom. Constantly flirting. To be honest, she's got feelings for him too. She thinks he's very nice hands. Truth is,
very nice hands?
He's beautiful hands. All doctors have clean, nice, beautiful hands.
What the fuck? That's not... Art has to be... There has to be some truth in your art, man. What the fuck are you talking about? What is this?
So I told her, I said, I have no problem with it if you want to go ahead. I mean, he seems like a nice guy. Very nice guy. And I don't want to get in the way of her trying to get her life back on track. I'll be gone in a few years. I'll get a job.
If my husband made a mistake, if out of negligence or I don't know what, he caused this tragic thing to happen, I don't understand why I should have to pay the price. Why my children should have to pay the price.
This is one of the greatest actresses ever. He is instructing Nicole Kidman to be a fucking robot. Why would you do this? Why would you do this?
You know, not long after my dad died, someone told me that I eat spaghetti the exact same way he did.
It's like hiring Picasso to do a paint by numbers. It's so it makes me crazy.
They said, what an extraordinary impression this fact had made on them. Look at the boy. Look how he eats spaghetti. Exactly the same way his father did. He sticks his fork in, he twirls it around and round and round and round and round. And then he sticks it in his mouth. That time, I thought I was the only one who ate spaghetti that way. Me and my dad. Later, of course, I found out that everyone eats spaghetti the exact same way.
Totally incorrect. Totally incorrect. Italians always make fun of how Americans eat spaghetti. It is one of the most prominent cultural divides in the world. They're like, oh, you fucking disgusting Americans eat without fucking spoons. It's literally something that's not even true.
Exact same way. Exact same way.
Some people fucking cut their spaghetti.
This made me very...
This is art? What are you talking? This is what's supposed to be one of the most important scenes in this film. People tell me that this is like high art. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's the ramblings of a Philistine.
Very upset. Very upset. Maybe even more upset than when they told me he was dead. My dad. I don't know if what is happening is fair, but...
Did you hear what he just said? He was more upset that people said he ate spaghetti like his father than the death of his father. Who wrote this? Is it the same guy who wrote the fight? Is it Tommy Wiseau? Am I taking crazy pills? Lisa, you're tearing me apart. What the fuck are we talking about?
It's the...
Oh, hi, Mark. You want to eat spaghetti?
The only thing I can think of as close to justice. Time's getting on, and if I'm late for class, I'm done for.
Time's getting on, and if I'm late for class, I'm done for. AI could write better dialogue. I don't know what people say. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I honestly, it's like that scene in South Park where all of Stan's friends are like, listen to this new music. And all Stan hears is just, it just is the sound of someone spraying diarrhea in a bowl to me. I don't know what they see, and it makes me crazier. Because if people were just like, you know what? I think Yorgos is okay. I like his movies. I think they're interesting. I would be like, okay, all right, I get that. But there are fans that are like, he's the greatest. Another Academy Award, sir. Here, take them. Best film of the year? Absolutely. It's like, what? What? In what universe? I can make a fucking 10-minute long spaghetti scene. I'll eat a fucking taco. What do you want from me? I mean, fuck. I'll get Dame Judi Dench and have her no emotion, right? Hey, Dame Judi Dench, I know you've been acting for like 100 years and you're the greatest of all time. But in this scene, can you just be flat as piss on a goddamn plate? Give me nothing, and we'll call it art. Anyway. I do a lot of this for effect. If you enjoy Yorgos, please continue enjoying him. I do it for comedy's sake. But I am baffled by it. Would you ever do a segment where you rate viewers' letterbox profiles? That might be funny. Valid crash out. I think that is one thing though, is like, I do like crashing out for effect. And I think sometimes like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to make anybody feel bad. I just do it to be humorous. I think a funny crash out is funny. That is one thing I have learned on Twitch though, is like when you crash out sometimes for effect, sometimes people take it really serious and then they'll like rage bait you back and then it'll go back and forth and then no one's having a good time. So I always like after that stuff to just remind people I'm an elevated version of myself on stream. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very early podcast tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed film night. I had a absolute blast. I'm going to send you over to the lovely Caroline Kwan, everybody. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for stopping by with me. I don't think I will be streaming tomorrow. Well, I will be streaming, but from the GLAAD Awards. So with that being said, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all that you do. I hope you had a wonderful time tonight. I had a wonderful time streaming for you. Stay dangerous, everybody. I will probably see you Friday, and then I'm taking Saturday off. Friday, we will finish Resident Evil is likely the goal of that stream. Thank you again for all you do. I really appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful evening and good night.